So they say I need therapy. So I'm turning to YouTube with hopes that this may help. Um, I've recently been diagnosed with breast cancer, and it's been a struggle to accept. It was a shock. I was diagnosed with breast cancer on March 2nd, 2021. And it's been now a little bit over a month. And it's been an excruciating process, but by all means, I have a great medical team and a supportive family that they helping me get through. And so everyone says I need to talk to someone. Try not to cry. Okay, so I'm a bit of a shock. I'm still in a bit of a shock. But I'll tell you my story, and hopefully I can help someone else. And so, my disclaimer before any and everything is, when something doesn't feel right, trust your gut and your instinct, and advocate for yourself. That's how I was able to hopefully save my own life. So, I'll start with my process. COVID has been one hell of a year. And we all have felt just different kind of varieties of forms of depression. And I was going through my own. Um, I was in a relationship that wasn't really conducive to my happiness. And I went through a lot in that relationship. It was going back and forth for so long. In October, at the end of October, I lost my father. And the same day I lost my father was the same day that my relationship also came to a halt. And I went through various emotions, and I started to feel weird. I felt like my body just wasn't reacting or responding the way I felt that it was normally. I really couldn't describe it in words. I just knew that I woke up different, and I went to bed nervous if I was going to wake up in the morning, and scared to go to sleep by myself, and not wanting to share this information because I didn't want people to think that I was crazy. That I didn't want to say that I felt sick, but I couldn't really give symptoms of my sickness, especially during COVID. You don't want people to think that there's something wrong with you and they want to stay away. I didn't know if it was a mental thing for me. I didn't know if I was just psychologically just losing my mind. So I kept going back and forth to the doctors, and they just kept running all kind of blood work, and nothing came back saying anything. Everything was negative, and they just told me to just relax, seek therapy, and relax. That, we're all having trying times. It wasn't until January of 2021 where I finally met a doctor that I felt was taking me seriously. And so The first symptom, I guess, that I was able to just show and describe was my breast was lactating, and it was a clear, milky substance. Um, and I had, of course, went to the Googler, and the options were pregnancy and breast cancer. And honestly, disclaimer, I had been trying to get pregnant. I'm 34 with no children. And I had been trying with my partner for a really long time. And so when it said that, I really got my hopes up that I could possibly be a mother. Breast cancer was the furthest from my brain. I'm lucky and privileged to know both sides of my family and have a great relationship with both sides of my family. And breast cancer wasn't something that was discovered in my family. That I had an aunt on one side and a great aunt on the other side, but other than that, it was unknown. And so I do suffer from PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I was always told that it was going to be a process for me to get pregnant. So I thought this was it. But then, as I continued to read, it was like, oh, that doesn't happen until like the 7th month going in, right before birth. And so it was like, okay, that's not it. So, of course, I made an appointment with my doctor right away. She never even checked my breast. She automatically thought it was hormonal, that I could be pregnant, and she wanted to further test that. I wasn't. And I then went for a MRI and a CAT scan for my pituitary gland to make sure that my prolactin levels weren't high and that it wasn't a hormonal thing, or that it was hormonal. Everything came back negative. So I still started to think there was something wrong with me. I had all kind of pains in my stomach, lower and upper, mainly on the lower, but the left and the right side. I was nauseated. I just didn't feel myself. I just woke up different. I just woke up different, and I couldn't explain it. And I'm sorry for crying. I'm very emotional person in general. But the next step was for me to get a mammogram. I'm 34 years old, and honestly, I don't know anything about a mammogram. I wasn't prepared for that kind of pain, and I understand that some women enjoy the process. I never even looked it up, what it really was, before getting it done. And for me, that was a lot. I had the mammo and the sono on the same day. And they told me that the radiologist said that she felt that there was calcium in my right boob and that it needed to be tested. So I went in for a biopsy the next day. I never want to do those things again. The biopsy wasn't painful, but it was just emotionally draining. I was able to get to see the tissue, at least what it looks like inside of your boob. Is interesting. My doctors are also phenomenal. The staff, the nurses, and the assistants are top tier. And I just want to say thanks to all of them. But I had the biopsy done, and I'll insert pictures. It didn't do well, and I had an infection. And so when I had went back after the 5th day after the biopsy, for them to check it. My doctor, my personal doctor's office had called and said that my doctor had wanted me to come into her office right away. And I said to them that I was already at the breast center and that if it could wait. And they said that they put me on hold and he was like they was going to have her call me personally. So as I was waiting for the results from the sonogram after the infection, my doctor called me and asked me if I wanted her to give me the results or if I wanted someone else to at the breast center. I ran to my car. I told her I wanted to hear it from her. I left the center and she called me back. On video and told me that I had breast cancer. So that was a tough one. That was something I wasn't expecting. Even with having a mammogram and a sonogram and a biopsy, I still denied the idea that I could have breast cancer. I understand that it is not a death warrant for me and I will survive this. It's still a shock to my emotional system and the psychological issues that I feel like I'm dealing with. Uh, so I left. I didn't even meet with the breast center doctor. I left and I just wanted to digest all that I was told. And so the next day I did meet with the breast center doctor, the breast doctor, and she confirmed the information and we started discussing options. And because of the placement of the cancer in my breast, the mastectomy is the best choice. She would have done her best with the lupectomy, which is trying to save the breast. But there's no guarantee that the cancer wouldn't come back. I agreed to having a lupectomy first. But after about a week, the genetic doctor called, and although they had told me before that I was negative for any of the BRCAs, that they had later found that I carried RAD50 and I did have a genetic gene for breast cancer. I don't know if that was supposed to be a relief, but somehow it was. Because honestly, when I got diagnosed, not that I was wondering why me, it was just more so how. What did I do? Did I do something to myself? Did I expose myself to something? Because when they say environmental, I live in New York City and there's so much construction around here and just all kind of ailments and things going on. It was just concern. I am a smoker, honestly. I don't have the best lifestyle. And so it was just, did I do it to me? Did I do it to myself? Could I have controlled it? And I don't know the answer, and I know that people keep telling me not to blame myself. It's easier said than done. It is easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But I carry RAD50, and it's a newer gene that they are just discovering, more information about. And once I found out that I carried the gene, I decided for a double mastectomy because I had also been told that they see something in the left breast, but that they didn't want to perform a biopsy on that side until another 6 months from now. And I had a really bad experience with this. Um, and I don't want to keep going back and forth. The amount of wristbands I've collected. I don't want to keep going through it. So I'm opting for a double mastectomy. And I am scared. I am scared. And the reason why I'm recording this video is because after I made this decision, I came directly to YouTube to see other women who have gone through, what I'm going through. And it's been really fulfilling for you guys that have shared your stories. And I just wanted to share mine. I do need therapy. I do. But I'm gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna be okay. I know that this is just another chapter in my story. And excuse me. Oh, excuse me for my runny nose, but it's new, and I'm not the greatest person with accepting change. And so it's been a hard pill to swallow, and I know that it's a personal decision. I went to H&M like 3 days after I was diagnosed, and they had this shirt. It's my first time wearing it, so it does still have the tag, but it's a stand-up. I got it from Forever 21, same store pretty much. But it's a stand-up to cancer shirt, and I thought that was so cool, and it spoke directly to me right in that moment, in that day, that same week. So I've also been getting my nails colored pink. I'm gonna lighten up the mood, and with my double mastectomy, I'm just looking to have a new boob job, right? I was happy with my breasts before, and I actually really liked my breasts, and I had a really great relationship with my breasts. It's gonna be sad to see them go. But I'd rather not have cancer, and I'd rather not have the possibility to have to go through this later, years from now, of a second reoccurrence. And you know, I want to have kids one day, and I know that people have questioned, my choice of whether or not what I would do about breastfeeding. And honestly, as long as my child can eat, I don't care what source or outlet that it comes from. I really choose and pray that I will become a mom one day. Um, I really do pray that I will become a mother one day, and I will feed my child just fine, even if it isn't breastfeeding. Because even with women who actually have breasts, they all don't breastfeed their children. So I'm okay with that. always wanted a piercing, a nipple piercing, and it was actually my right boob, like that I actually am so fond of. And it's my right boob that does have the cancer. And so I don't know how a piercing will play into that. But I am a smoker, and as a smoker, I cannot get plastic or cosmetic surgery until I quit. And so if you guys could pray for me, as apparently I am addicted to nicotine. I have to kick the habit in order for me to be healthy. But I ain't gonna lie, this process only makes me want to smoke. Go figure. The thing about it though, the most important part is this: that none of the symptoms that I was experiencing that led them to even giving me a mammogram actually have to do with my breast cancer. So I still feel oh, excuse me. But I'm happy to at least be diagnosed with something, right? And not completely feel like I'm losing my mind. So pray for me, please. Pray for me, please. As I pray for you guys as well. Because this has been draining. It's been draining. And everybody keeps asking that question. How do you feel? How are you? I don't know how to answer that question anymore. You not really truly tell how I feel. And I don't think that people really want to hear that. But I'm really tired of saying okay and fine. I'm also really tired of hearing that I'm so young. I get it. I get it. But I'm not the youngest. And I'm 34. And I have one hell of a life to continue to live. And I plan on it. And I do have breast cancer. But breast cancer will not take over me. Prayfully not. Prayfully not. I don't feel sick. I'm not on any medication. My hair is thinning. And I don't know what that has to do with. It is falling out. Besides thinning. But I know that I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I know it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. And so I'm grateful that I trusted my instincts. And I changed up my doctors each and every time if I needed to. And I was at their office 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day asking them to run whatever test that they had to. I'm thankful for my insurance who have been holding me down. It's been a process. It's been a process. And life ain't easy, but I'm gonna get through this challenge. And I'm gonna have new boobs and hopefully a tummy tuck at the end of all of this. I always wanted a tummy tuck, right? So hopefully, they'll use the tissue from my abdomen and be able to give me reconstructive boobs. I won't OD because I'm like, take all the fat from my stomach, so that means I gotta get H's then. Nah, but seriously, there has to be a positive side, right? There is a positive side. I'm still here. And you're still here with me. And so thank you. Thank you for watching. And I guess until next time, I'll give you guys an update. Yeah, I'll give you an update. Before my surgery, double mastectomy. Bilateral mastectomy.